Hey yo, what's up everybody, TikiB Games here, and today I'm going to be attempting to survive 100 days in hardcore Palworld. They came out with this mode last major update, I think that was in December, and it's essentially just like Minecraft. If you die, you can't play the world anymore. And it's also, if your pals die, they stay dead forever as well, which is kind of cool and also kind of scary. But once I was playing this, it was right after the update came out, so there's going to be none of the new Terraria stuff, unfortunately, but I do plan on going and doing a video on that at some point. So without any further ado, let's get started over here with day one. Alrighty, day one, one of the most important days in the game. Start off by making my beautiful, amazing character. By that I mean hit the random button a bunch of times and then eventually gave up and decided to edit the character to make him look somewhat normal. Then after that, my main goal was essentially to get as many resources, as many pals as I possibly can, and as early as I can, because that's the quickest way to level up. And so that's what I did. I chopped down some trees, and then I went hunting for pals, and then I started to get ready to set up a base. Day two. So I got a base going. It's pretty simple. Just threw down some stuff that I needed to craft, mine, whatever you need. And then I also managed to capture an elk deer. Or I can't remember what these things are called. Deer? Elk deer? Xerneas? One of those. And those are super nice because they have level 2 tree chopping, which is really good for early game. And then I also managed to capture a Tombat, who also has level 2 mining. And so that's a pretty great start there for just being only on day 2. Day 3, I put them boys to work. The reason I chose this area to set up a base to the start is because there's a bunch of rocks and trees kind of in the area. So I don't need to set up a mine or a forest chopping thingy. I forget what those are called. And so I can kind of just get a bunch of resources really quickly here just by having the boys kind of run around on the base and then work. I also made them some hot tubs. Day 4 didn't do much. I don't remember exactly what I did here, but most of it was just me AFK on top of my fancy little house that I built. So I assume I was just letting resources build up, I believe, for this day. Day 6. Day 5. Not day 6. I decided to fight the Chillet. It wasn't really that hard. If you can dodge his main attack, it's no problem at all. I also had the elk deer in my party, and he just does a shit ton of damage early game, which is super nice. And then I also found this dude who was a Dino Dasher and made him my pal to help set him straight, you know? Set him on the right path in life. Day 6, I was able to unlock the Expedition. I have never messed with this before, nor have no idea what it does, so I kind of wanted to try it out and get it going, only to find out that I need to beat the tower boss before I can actually use it. So that is super sick. Day 7, I unlocked the ability to make a second base, so I decided to set it up near this iron deposit. And while I was here, I found some butterflies that were fighting some other dudes, so that was kind of cool. And then I also took down my first dungeon, which didn't really have any issues with. Day 8, made some bows, captured some pals, did some dungeons. Pretty simple day, pretty standard, and got some good XP out of it. Day 9, went to the nearby village in the Yellow Forest area and did some trading with one of the fellows over there. Just super nice having these guys in this game because sometimes some of these resources you can get are super annoying to get. And you could just sell these random gold items that you get and then just buy them instead of actually working for them. Hooray, capitalism. Big old day 10. So at this day, I went and killed the Pen King, which after feeling pretty confident after that fight, I decided to go and do the first tower boss fight. And my strat for this was pretty much to let my pals kind of face tank while I sat back with the crossbow and kind of just poke. I also got the dream something necklace. I forget what those guys are called. So it kind of just sits there and helps me pump out a little bit more damage while my other pal kind of sits there and tanks the whole thing. And it was pretty free, this whole boss fight. I don't think I really struggled at all or ran into any complications, so that was sick. Day 11, I get to try out the Expedition, which is pretty much you just send your pals into this abyss and let them collect resources for you. Kind of sick. I also found this shiny fishy out here in the water. That was also pretty cool. Day 12, did some walking, did some exploring. Nothing really exciting here. Day 13, I decided to explore this lava area because I needed some fire pals to just kind of help me make food. And this is the best way you can get them early on. And this place is useful because you can get a lot of good pals here, but it's also really dangerous because you can catch on fire, which is what happened to me, and I got really low health. Luckily, I was able to get out fine, but that gave me a little bit of a scare there, so that was not fun. Day 14, I decided to look for a new area for a base because my old one kind of sucked. It was a nice early game just to get some wood and stone right away, but I kind of wanted a big open area, and I settled on this spot in the red forest because I kind of like it, and I think it looks cool. So yeah, I pretty much moved all my pals over here, deleted my old base, and then kind of set up shop here. And this will be my main base from here on out. So I'm going to make like my main house here. I'll have like all my machines and stuff. I'm going to build a giant factory. It's all going to be super cool. Hopefully I don't die. Day 15, I started working on the pal's house. I'm getting too many of them, so I got to make a big old stone house for them to live in. And then make sure they're happy with their good old hot tubs, because apparently they don't like to work with a bad working condition. Day 16 pretty much had the house finished. That's kind of what it's going to look like for now. I'll add more onto it later, but for now, that's basically what it's going to be. Day 17, I had a wandering trader visit me, and I gotta say, I fucking loved this guy. He is super nice because he sells that ingredient right there, high quality pal oil. This is super useful later on. I think it's even useful right now, but it's just amazing to have. And I don't know where the footage went for this, if it was in this part and I just couldn't find it, but eventually I did capture one of these guys, and it may sound fucked up that I captured a human, but it was the best decision I ever made, because I can just summon that guy and then buy some high quality pal oil from him, and it was just fantastic, and it made my life so much easier. So shout out to this guy for making my run easier. Day 18, I'm going turtle hunting. That's right, I'm going to find some goddamn turtles, because these guys have level 3 mining, and it is super nice to just have them sit there and mine stone for you all day and never have to worry about stone again for the rest of your life. So that's what I did. I captured this poor little turtle and then put him to work. Day 19, I went after this fellow over here, which was another boss fight, and the reason I wanted him was so I can breed him with my Pink King to eventually get an Anubis, who is just fantastic at fighting, and also has level 3 handworking, crafting, whatever it's called in this game, which is super helpful later on, and he's just fantastic having your party for boss fights and stuff. So that was the main reason I went after him, and really no issues with this boss fight. Pretty easy capture. Day 20, feeling pretty good about that last boss fight, so I decided to do a couple more, and really no issues here with these guys either. So that was a nice free couple bosses right there, and some good XP, and some new workers for your boy. Day 21, I mentioned earlier that I needed high quality pal oil, because it's just useful for a lot of stuff. Mainly one recipe, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, it's super useful, and the way you get it is from these big fellas over here, so I decided to go hunting for them, that way I didn't really have to spend any more money. Day 22, I got this fella over here, so that way they can make me honey, and I can make some cakes and have my pals book. Day 23, I decided to do some more work on the base, and then decided to start building a factory. I built it all out of iron to make it look super cool. And this place is going to be nice. I'm just going to store all my equipment in here. All my pals are going to love working in here. I have no issues with it whatsoever, and going to enjoy sitting in here for the rest of their lives. Day 24, bought this big old cat, and it wasn't very hard. I just kind of went and cleaned up some of the bosses that I haven't done yet, and this was one of them. And I don't think this guy's even useful for anything, so I mainly just did it just to check off the thing and then get another pal added to the thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then I also fought this guy over here. He wasn't really much of a problem either. And so yeah, that was sick. And then got power running up into my factory, so now I have a fully functioning factory for my pals to work. Day 25, got a big old fishing, and I'm a quarter of the way done. If you're wondering why some of these days are so short, it's because I'm literally just running around capturing pals to level up, because that is 90% of what this game is. Day 26, I made a fully automated gun and decided to test it out on these poor innocent cows. I really just wanted to shoot something. I also got a third base, and so I decided to set up over at this iron and coal mine so I can start getting some iron and coal, which is used to make better ingots, which I will need later on. Day 27, fought a unicorn. Day 28, I fought Zapdos. Day 29, I fought this big scary guy. Kind of just let him wail on my pal while I shot him in the back with an assault rifle. I feel like most people shouldn't take that many bullets, but this guy is very big, so. Day 30, I think I was kind of just flying around, checking out the base, and then captured some wandering little fucks that were walking around my base. Day 31, did some more exploring, captured some more pals, and had a lot of trouble with this frog. I really did not like him. Kind of live audio from what happened.
Come on, dude, you stupid fucking frog.
Yep, not a huge fan of that fucker. I think eventually I just gave up or just killed him.
Fucking little shit.
And then I also found this giant panda. I wanted to capture him, but I think I accidentally killed him.
Oh, I wanted to catch him, dude.
A really rough day this day.
Oh my god.
Not a good day. But I got an Anubis at some point. I don't remember when I got him, but I got him. I pretty much, like I said, I bred him with the other guys, and then got the egg, and then hatched him. Day 32. I found a meteor in my base. Yep, there is meteors in this game. After launch, in one of their updates, they decided to add meteors, which can drop, I believe, supply drops, and then inside of them have alien pals, which are super cool designs. Look at those guys. They're big and scary. They got big old claws. Don't even eat your kitten, dude. Just watch out. Yeah, they're super cool. Overall stats are pretty good, too, on them, so that was super nice. But the only way to get them is to kind of be near one of these meteor spawns when they fall. And luckily, my base was kind of near one, so I was able to capture them. Day 33, I beat the living hell out of this poor kelp seed. He had no idea what was coming. Almost killed the poor guy. Day 34, I felt finally confident enough to take on the second tower in this game. This is like my 8th attempt at doing hardcore in this, and the furthest I've made it was at this tower. I died at this tower. It really sucked, and it was really annoying because I felt like I had a good base going, and I made it to like almost day 40 already in that world, but I felt pretty confident this time around, and hopefully nothing goes wrong. This boss did take me a while. It just felt like they had a lot of health, and I didn't do a lot of damage. My strat was pretty similar to the last one. Kind of have my pal face tank it, while instead of shooting it with a crossbow, I made a bunch of incendiary grenades and just kind of lobbed them at her. And it did a good amount of damage, and eventually I was able to
monkey, let's go!
And I was pretty happy there. I forgot about that. Really wanted my monkey to kill it.
Shit, dude.
Super happy about that. But yeah, I was happy I beat that tower, and I can keep going. Woohoo! But the other towers, I was very afraid of. I really thought they were going to kick my ass. Day 35, I decided to venture out to one of the sanctuary islands, and these are super nice because they have a bunch of rare pals on there, but unfortunately, the cops don't like you being here for some fucking reason. I can't imagine why. And so you get a wanted level whenever you get here, so you gotta watch out for them, but if you get on the island, you can find some pretty cool pals and get some pretty cool stuff out of it, so that's cool. Day 35, I did a lot of exploring. After I finished the boss tower, I actually went to the desert, kind of unlock that area. And then here, I kind of go to the final island and kind of unlock a little bit of it and get some map data. The reason for doing this is mainly just because the XP is super nice. Once you explore areas you haven't explored, you get a fat chunk of XP, which is a great way to help you level up. And I am going to need all the levels I can get if I am going to attempt to take on the final towers before the final day, because XP gain really slows down here at the end. I was zooming to start, but now it's kind of just taking me forever to level up. Okay, so day 36 through 44. I, at some point, am missing footage. I don't know if it's because I forgot to record or if I just managed to skip some days going through all the footage, but I lost some footage for some of the days. So that's why there's like this big gap right now, but I'm just going to say for those days, I probably did base work and captured more pals, because I don't remember anything exciting that happened that I missed. So, yeah, there's that. But after that, we'll go back to normal days. Just a big time gap here for some reason, because my dumbass either forgot to record or somehow lost the footage, one of the two. Day 45, I just sat around and waited for some eggs to hatch. I probably found a bunch of eggs and was also doing some breeding and just wanted to hatch some stuff, so that's probably what was going on here. Day 46, I went around and captured a couple more boss pals I didn't have. No issues here. Pretty simple. Day 47, I decided to visit the giant oil rig that's kind of out in the middle of the ocean. This was not in the game the first time I played it, so I had no idea how to take this down or deal with this. So I kind of just flew around and was a little bit hesitant and ended up just flying away and planning on tackling it on a later date. Day 48, more capturing the boss pals. Day 49, I kind of moved around my storage a little bit because it was getting really bad. As you can see, I kind of had all of my stuff in these 4 chests right here, and they weren't exactly the biggest. So I decided to make some of those new chests that my pals are building right now, and then kind of sort my stuff into there to make it a little bit more organized and not have as many chests up on the base. Day 50, I decided to visit the swap land area to get a bunch of these shark fin people, because they give you pal fluid, which is really nice and really useful, and probably the easiest way to get it is to go to this island. And then I also fought a giant beetle who was here. Day 51, nothing really exciting. I pretty much was flying around the volcano island, just trying to collect a little bit more map data and collecting some pals. Day 52, some pretty similar stuff, just flying around the ice island where the second tower is, and just collecting more pals that I haven't gotten, because I've caught basically almost all the starter pals, so I'm kind of needing to go to different areas to collect higher level pals, and it's also costing me a lot of pal balls, or fucking pal spheres, whatever they're called in this game. And so I'm kind of hitting a wall at this point where it just costs a lot of materials to level up because I need to keep crafting PAL balls, to keep collecting PALs, and so on and so forth. Because at the beginning of this, I was moving pretty quickly, but now it's kind of taken me a long time to level up. So that's pretty much what the whole second half of these 50 days is going to be, is me just trying to collect PALs. Day 53, went to another sanctuary, caught some more rare PALs, found some cool guys, nothing really exciting. Day 54, flew around the ice island a little bit, caught one of the ice mammoths, which are pretty cool, and got some good materials from that. Day 55, flew around the volcano island, caught some more PALs over here that I haven't gotten yet. Day 56, flew back to some of the earlier islands, capture more mammoths. I assumed I needed high quality PAL oil, that's why I was doing this. Day 57, did some base work and hatched some eggs. I had a lot of them in my base, a lot of new PALs. Day 58, I fought King Paka. I thought I fought this guy a long time ago. I guess I never did, apparently, because I'm pretty sure I got a first time capture bonus here. But this was like one of the earlier bosses, so I was surprised I never got him. Day 59, I think I was just flying around more islands, capturing PALs I didn't have, and collecting more map data. I was also trying to complete the map as much as I could at this point, so that's why you see me flying to all these different islands, just collecting areas, because you gain XP for areas you haven't been to yet. So I was trying to complete the map while capturing a bunch of PALs. Day 60, I went to another one of the wildlife areas that I haven't been to yet, and I caught the Jormundinger, something, whatever these guys are called. One of the best PALs in the game, in my opinion. They have level 4 kindling, and they're also just really strong. So that's why I was trying to catch him here, because he's just goated for having for battle or making cakes, whatever you need. Day 61, more flying around, collecting map data, using this Jormundinger. I keep forgetting his goddamn name, but just using him to fight bosses I haven't really fought in yet. Also, I don't know why there's no audio on these last couple days. I think the audio just didn't record for some reason, so that's annoying, but it should be back eventually. Day 62, more boss killing. Just finish up some of the bosses I haven't done yet that are kind of my level range. I believe I am in the low 40s at this point. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm just kind of cleaning up any bosses I haven't beaten yet. Day 63, I'm chilling on the side of a rock. Yep. Not doing anything, but just chilling on the side of the rock. I was actually moving quartz here, and I think I had a fear of almost dying. I don't know exactly what was happening here, but my strategy for moving quartz in this game is there's a quartz deposit in the icy area, and instead of setting up a whole new base over there, I usually just grab as much as I can, and then if you're overweight, you can use the grappling hook, and if you keep taking it on and off like I'm doing right here, you can travel with it. So this was kind of my method for getting quartz throughout the entire game, and that's why I am doing this here. Day 64, back to boss killing. I'm pretty sure at this point I didn't even try shooting the bosses. I kind of just let my pal beat up on him because he was just around the same level as them and did a lot of damage, and that way I didn't risk dying because I did not want to die. Day 65, I decided to fight Anubis. He was one of the higher end bosses in the game. As you can see, he's level 47. I believe I'm around level 45 right now, but I was moving through the other bosses, so I felt pretty confident with this. I kind of let my Anubis that I bred just go up against him and try to 1v1 here, but unfortunately, I made the mistake of underestimating this guy, and he was able to get an attack on me and knock me down to like 1 health, I believe, and it scared the absolute crap out of me, so I just bolted away and was like, nope, not dealing with that, and gave up on fighting him. Day 66, I decided to move my iron base, the second base I built, to a new area. It was getting kind of annoying to build new stuff there because the land was so, like, curvy. So trying to build, like, other stuff on that island besides just mining the ore made it really difficult. So I decided to move to a new area and set up a new base over in this nice, lovely yellow forest. Day 67, I did more work on the new base, and another reason I wanted to build this base is because of this thing right here, the summoning altar. This is new to me. The first time I played through this game, it was back when it first came out, and then I did pretty much everything you could do in the game. I did the original towers, and that was about it after that. There was nothing else to do. So the summoning altar was new to me. So part of the reason I wanted to make this new area was so I can try out the summoning altar and just see how that actually worked. So here, I actually test out the summoning altar, and I'm going to let the live audio go through. I was talking to my friends in Discord. Unfortunately, you can't hear them. You can only hear me. But here was my live reaction to how this raid went.
Oh my god, okay, this might have been a mistake. No, this thing just has a fuck ton of health. Well, it's a summon, so I've never done this before. So I didn't know how it would work. Oh, my entire base is gonna fucking die. Yeah, well, I moved a base specifically so I could do this. To spawn a powerful, like, to summon like this. And... okay, well, like, yeah, they're all dying. There's dead pals on the ground, Tony. I might have... I deadass might... well, I'm recording, so... I might have to fucking abandon this base. Well, I might be able... fuck, I might be able to save some of them. He just had way more health than I fucking thought. Yeah, so that did not go nearly as well as I was expecting. I did not even have good pals in there. I'm pretty sure I just had the normal pals I was using to farm stuff. So I had like a level 3 chicken in there, and I'm pretty sure the poor little guy got deleted like instantly and didn't even get to stand a chance to fight the... I don't even remember what the boss was called. But yeah, that was an absolute disaster. Luckily it despawned, and I was able to salvage most of the base, and so I pretty much just had to repair the base and all the stuff I lost. But yeah, that was an absolute fail. Day 69. I decided to do more work on the new base, and as a momentum to the fallen soldiers that we lost in the battle, I decided to add some gravestones where the old summoning altar was, and I did not plan on doing summons ever here again. I do try to summon again later on in the future, but it is at a new base, and I am much more prepared, so. Day 70, I go back to breaking the law. Day 71, I decided to finally tackle that oil rig that I found on earlier, and it turns out it wasn't really that bad. I kind of was just able to run through, and I think it was over-leveled for this pretty much, so I just ran through and killed everybody that stood in my way. They did not stand a chance, those fuckers. Day 72, just went and fought some more bosses that I have not gotten done yet, and captured some more pals, and explored some new areas. Day 73, just did some more work around the base. Day 74, I decided to visit one of the islands that came out post-launch. Like I mentioned, I played this game when it initially came out, and since then they've added 2 new islands. One of them is the one I'm at now, and another one is I have not even touched yet, because in my old world, I decided to fly to it to check it out, and I got shot out of the air. So I've been really hesitant to go to that one. But I have decided to explore this one, though. I have gotten enough confidence. And I found some ground monkeys, which was super sick, because I love monkeys. Day 75, I admire my new ground monkeys that I have acquired. Day 77, I decided to visit this new dealer. He was added post-launch as well. Yeah, you get these like coins from something, I can't remember how, and then he sells a bunch of shit. So I was kind of looking to see what he had. Day 77, I was going to go visit a new oil rig, and then this happened. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, I thought that one was going to be really easy because the last one was, but my pal almost died there, and that would have really sucked. Day 78, I decided to go capture this giant scorpion dude, and then after that, I felt really confident and had enough confidence to go take on the next tower boss. So, on to the tower boss. The reason I decided to capture the giant scorpion is because ground is super effective against electric type in this game, much like it is in Pokemon. So, I felt confident enough with Anubis, but I also kind of wanted a second backup in case Anubis got weak to kind of throw him in there and tank the boss a little bit while Anubis heals up. And overall, the strategy worked out pretty well. I didn't really have any issues with this boss, and it went pretty smoothly. Also, my other strategy for this boss was rocket launcher. That's right, I crafted a goddamn rocket launcher. And this thing actually does a crap ton of damage. So, as you can see, just deleted the boss right there. And it made things a lot easier. I was also trying to hit him with the sword, which necessarily wasn't the smartest idea. But I survived, I beat the boss, and on to the next one eventually, after I level up and get more stuff. Day 78, I just did some more base work, and then checked out the new expedition that I unlocked. It's super nice. Once you complete towers, you unlock new expeditions, and these give you higher quality items, which is super nice. Day 79, I'm mining away. Day 80, we continue to mine away. And then day 81, we fly away. And then day 82, we capture away. On to day 83. So I mentioned before that they added meteors into this game, and I thought there was only one PAL type with the meteors. I didn't realize that there was multiple. So when this thing flew down, and then I saw that big-ass motherfucker, I was so excited. I was like, holy shit, new PAL, he looks fucking awesome. So I decided to capture him and make him mine. On to day 84. So I went after Jetragon. He is one of the legendary pals in the game, and they bumped him up to level 60. Originally, he was level 50 when the game first released, so I had a strategy where I would go up and just launch a pow ball at him, and then hope I would get lucky enough to catch him. So that's what I tried doing here, but I also decided for some reason that it might be a good idea to see if I can at least damage him and weaken him before I capture him, and that was not a great idea, because I unfortunately lose one of the homies here. I lose Anubis, and this is the first time I actually lose a pal in the game. Before, I had not really lost anybody that was too important, but my greed had fucked me over here, and I had lost him, unfortunately.
Actually.
But I was able to capture Jetragon pretty easily, and this kind of was my main strat for the last two towers, was to use Jetragon. On to day 85. As you can see, I also caught this guy right here. I can't remember his name. He wasn't very important. But I used the similar strategy that I used for Jetragon. I waited for his night so he was asleep, and then I went up and then gave him the good old backshot bonus with the pow ball, and decided to explore the new island here. Like I mentioned before, they added 2 new islands post-launch. They added that one I was on earlier with the ground monkeys, which wasn't very big, but still was kind of cool. But this one was actually massive, and there was so much to the island. So I decided to capture this guy, and like I mentioned before, I couldn't fly to the island because they'll try to shoot you down. And so I captured him, that way I can kind of run around on the island and unlock new areas, which gives you fat chunks of XP, which will help me level up and get to the level I need to do the final boss. Because I only plan on doing 2 more towers at this point, basically completing all the towers that were originally in the game. So I have 2 left, and I want to get as high as level as I possibly can, and then on the last few days is when I'm going to actually try and tackle those towers. Day 86, just run around exploring more of this new island, and I gotta say, this was by far the coolest island in the game. They added so much to it. There's so many different areas and so many different environments, and a lot of pals. They really fucking killed it with this island, so good shit, developers, because this island is awesome. Day 87, we are back on the mainland, and I'm pretty much doing the rest of the bosses that I had not done up to this point. So like I mentioned, there's legendary pals, and most of those guys are level 60, but below that, all the other pals that are kind of around the islands are pretty decently, like, low level, I would say. Not low level, but this guy's level 45 is what I mean, and it's actually killable, so I'm pretty much cleaning up the rest of the bosses I haven't done yet. Day 88, I try to capture another Jetragon. So my plan for the final 2 towers is to just try to load my team up to with Jetragons, if possible. Because he gets a team up where you can see what I'm doing here right now. I'm just launching fucking missiles off him. And it is super strong. It does a crap ton of damage. And it was how I was able to beat the game originally. So my goal was to capture as many of these guys as I can. And just keep spamming missile launcher. Because you can rotate missile launcher through each of the pals. If you have like 5 Jetragons in your party, you can just keep spamming that ability. And it'll absolutely demolish the bosses. Day 89, just back on the new island, exploring more of the areas that I haven't actually gotten. I also found out on this island, the little like loot crates that you have that you can find on the ground. Not loot crates, but like piles of like garbage that have loot in them. Can give you really good pal spheres. So that was another reason I was on this island, was to get XP and to get as many pal spheres as I can, because it costs a lot to make them right now. And I need the highest quality pal sphere I can if I want to continue with my Jetragon strat of catching as many of them as I can. Day 90, just continue exploring more of the island. As you can see, I kind of got a good chunk of it done already, but there is still a lot to this island that I have yet to explore. Day 91, I go back to attempting to capture more Jetragons, and I got extremely lucky the first time I did this, because after that, I swear to God, it felt like I just never even got a wiggle on these guys sometimes, and the game hated me.
I got mine at level 5.
Day 92, as you can see, I explored almost the entirety of the new island, and as you can see, compared to the other ones, it is really massive. So I think I just end up doing more base work around here for the rest of the day, and that was really about it. Day 93, I become a pirate. Arg. I was actually just exploring more of the island, and I found this cool little pirate ship. And then I'm pretty sure I also ran into some bad guys over here who were giving me some trouble, and I tried fighting. But they also did a crap ton of damage, so I got a little scared for a second that they might kill me. because this island, the final tower level requirement is level 60, and I think I was like high 40s at this point. And these guys did a decent amount of damage to me and gave me a little bit of a scare, but luckily I was able to get out of here alive with no issues. Not no issues, I should say, but very little issues. Day 94, I went back to one of the Sanctuary Islands and tried to capture some more pals that I haven't found yet, and I ended up finding this shiny dude, Astragon, or something like that I think his name is, along those lines, and I tried capturing him, but I am pretty sure he despawned or something. He did a lot of damage to me, so I kind of flew away, and then I'm pretty sure he ended up despawning, which was really sad, because he would have been really nice to have. Day 95, I went in to do the second to last tower. I unfortunately was unable to capture any more Detragons, so I couldn't use that strategy, but I still had a pretty decent roster of pals going on here. I got the giant alien dragon that I found, the Detragon, the other legendary pal I had, and overall felt pretty solid with my team going in there. Strategy for this boss was kind of similar to the last one. I didn't really have the type advantage going in here. I did have the water Suzuku, I think was that dude's name, and he was kind of the only type advantage I had going in here. Otherwise, I just brought in my strongest pals, like I just mentioned, and it was pretty much just going to be rotating through the pals while using the rocket to do damage, because the rocket do be chunking. And I think I just loaded up as many rockets as I can, relied on Jetragon's ability when I could, and then kind of rotated my pals in and out to hopefully be able to kill them without taking much damage or losing anybody, because losing somebody now would really suck, especially only having 5 days left to go into the final tower. And ended up able to clean up this tower without losing anybody, fortunately, and overall, wasn't that bad. I thought this would be harder. Maybe I just remember the final tower being really hard the last time I played this game, and that's why I was kind of over-preparing for all this. But all my pals were pretty strong there, and then I had a good amount of rockets, so I kind of just spammed them while I was able to rotate through my pals to tank them, and I was able to clear the tower. So I got one left, 5 days to go. Hopefully I don't die on this last day, because that would really suck. Day 96 just went back to trying to capture more Detragons. I still wanted to at least get one more before going into the final tower, but unfortunately my luck was not there. It gave me one, which was super nice, because having one alone is just super nice for traveling. But unfortunately, I was not able to capture any more, and my strat for going into the final boss was just going to have to hope that I'm good enough at the game. Day 96, nothing exciting. Did some chores at one of the bases, and that was really about it. Day 97, I decided to get rid of the coal base and move it somewhere else, because I'm going to need oil if I survive this next tower, because oil is how you make the next tier of ingots that you need to make the next gear, pal spheres, all that. So I got rid of the coal base and then kind of moved that base over to here. I'm able to set up like the automated coal mines like you could do with the stone mines at the beginning of the game. So I set up those here, and then I also set up some oil rigs to get my pals going and working here. That way I can get some new materials, and if I survive this last tower, I will be able to make the new ingots. Day 98. I get everything ready for the final boss attempt. I had as much gear as I possibly could need. I pretty much did every last little thing I could. I got all the ammo I needed, make sure all my pals were leveled up. I increased their stats as high as I could. And then I flew to the tower, and I got ready to take on the final boss. Day 99, the final boss. The day actually transitions while I'm in the tower. As you can see, the little moon icon on the bottom there is about to switch to day 99. There it is. So I'm at day 99. And immediately off the bat, I decided to use the missile launcher to try to get as many uses out of that as I could. And I got a little scared because it did not do nearly as much damage as I was hoping it would do. But luckily, Jetragon himself actually was chunking him here a little bit. So as long as he could stay alive, I had faith that I might actually be able to do this. But as you can see, his health was getting pretty low there. So I had to start rotating through my pals to see if any of them could do any damage as well. So that's what I did. I kept rotating through as many of the pals as I could, making sure none of them died, because if they died, that would have sucked. I would have just lost somebody for not no reason. But it would have made it a lot harder to keep rotating through the pals. And my goal was just keep rotating through them, have them do as much damage as they can, swap them out when they get low, and in the meantime, just keep blasting rockets at the boss, hoping that the boss doesn't actually see me. As you can see, I took a little bit of damage there, and it damn near knocked out my shield. So that was a little scary. And about minutes left in the boss fight. I am over halfway done with this health bar. My strategy is working pretty flawlessly right now, actually. I am able to kind of just keep dodging his attacks while my pals keep tanking for me while I launch rockets. And I think without the rocket launcher, this shit would have been impossible, because the assault rifle that I've been using just did no damage to this guy, I'm pretty sure. So I just relied on the rocket launcher and just spammed as many rockets as I can at this guy, while the rest of my pals were kind of tanking, and I was kind of swapping them in and out. So coming into the last few minutes of the boss fight here, I had 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. I thought maybe I might have to start making some risky plays to get some extra damage in, but Jetragon just did a fuck ton of damage. As you can see, he chunked them there at the end, and I was able to finish the boss, and I did it. I didn't complete all the towers. I have 2 left technically, but within 100 days, I was able to do the original towers that were in the game.
I fucking did it!
And as you can see, I was pretty happy there. But I was actually really nervous going into that boss fight, and I thought I might actually die. So that's why I waited for it to do it on the last day, because I was like, if I'm gonna die, at least I'll have made it to 99 days or 100 days. So I technically have 1 more day left, but I don't really do much, so let's go on to day 100. So on to day 100, I pretty much am just kind of happy that it's done. I was able to survive 100 days without dying. I completed 5 out of the 7 towers. The original 5 towers, which was the goal I set for myself when playing this. When I first played this game, I think it took me a total of like 200 and something days to complete all the towers. So cutting that in half, more than half, and able to get it done in 100 days, I'm pretty happy with how I did this. And overall, happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with how my base turned out. I thought it looked really cool. I only lost 1 pal. I lost Anubis. I did cut it out, but I did make him a little gravestone in the base at some point, so I'll always remember that guy. As you can see right there, that is the world file, 100 days. These are all the world settings they used. I originally was going to bump up the XP a little bit, because the XP gain in this game, once you get towards the end, is really ridiculous. But this was my 8th attempt at doing hardcore, and in the first couple worlds, I bumped it up, and I was flying through low levels. So I was like, you know what, I'll leave it on default, and I don't think I changed anything, except I increased the amount of pals you can have in the base. I think the limit at the time was 15, and I bumped it up to like 20, which was the max that you were allowed to bump it up to, just because I don't know why they limited it. I know why they limited it, probably for performance reasons on certain worlds. But yeah, these are all the worlds that I decided to try this on, and was able to get to 100 days. And you can see my old world right there. It was at 200 days, so thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I will probably try to do 200 days. The Terraria update just came out, so I've been playing that a little bit. So I do want to complete the last 2 towers that are in the game. Hopefully I won't get cooked in them. I probably will. And then the Terraria update also added some new bosses and stuff. So I do want to try to do that. I want to try to do more of the summonings. There's still a lot left to do in the game. The main problem is just XP, and it takes so goddamn long to level up. So I'll probably end up bumping it up, just to make my life easier and actually try to get to do all the new stuff in 200 days. And I'm hoping by the end of 200 days, I will have done almost everything I could in the game. I've beaten all the bosses, completed all the towers, completed everything. So that's going to be my goal. So I'll see you all for 200 days then. And thanks so much for watching again. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.